Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to the Dig Out of Debt series here on Gage, Kentucky. I hope you're all doing very well and having a brilliant day. So, regarding digging ourselves out of debt, we are almost dug out of debt in a way. We're not far away from hitting our target of, well, zero debt as it were. I'm just loading up now with the last of our pallets that we have produced on the farm over the last couple of months. As you can see, we are now in March. The last episode ended in January. We did a bit of work. Now we're doing really well financially. Those of you who've been watching the series along, obviously you'll know where we're up to. But those of you who are new to the series, who've just picked this one up today, welcome. Hope you're all well. We started this series off $1 million in debt, and so far we're doing pretty well indeed. We've only got $150,000 left of the debt to pay off, and as you can see, I've just loaded up the last of our pallets that we've predominantly produced from the relatively recently acquired little dairy production that we've got here on the farm now, making use of our cow milk and our goat milk. The goat milk is producing butter, and the cow milk is producing bottled milk. Now, what we've got on the trailer here is roughly just under $24,000 worth of products, which is brilliant. So we're going to go and take a trip over to the farmer's market very shortly and go and get this sold, because that is absolutely, it's brilliant. It really is. 24 grand. Yes, it's not the best optimum sell time for the likes of the butter, but so we are losing a little bit of money on that. If I jump into our finances menu and just have a quick look, see at where we're up to now. Time-saving stock check here. So the butter, it's actually not so bad at the minute. The best sell time is October, but of course you're not going to keep a product like butter, again, holding on to the slightest modicum of realism. You're not going to hold on to butter for months and months and months, because it'll just go manky. So we're going to sell it. We've got just over 8,800 litres of the stuff, so currently worth $10,386. Its maximum value $10,750, so I ain't going to lose any sleep over the difference in that. Bottled milk, we've got $8,331 worth, maximum price $8,382 over in October. So again, not much of a difference, which is fine. The wool, yes, we're losing a bit of money on the wool. Its current price is, where are we up to? Current value at $4,663, max value at $5,230 in May. But I'm just, it is what it is. I'm just going to get it all gone and get the money into the bank. We're currently on $16,171. If I get rid of all this, we're going to have just under 40 grand. So I'll be able to pay off another 20 odd grand's worth of the debt, bringing the debt down to somewhere in the region of about 130, 125 grand's worth, give or take a bit. So that's all good. Now, obviously, in the last episode, one of the big reasons that we have been able to get the debt down to what it is now is thanks to the selling of our dried corn that we pulled out of our dryer here. We got a huge amount of money for that, about just over $400,000 worth. We sold a bit of our wheat as well, coming in at about $60,000, and we took on a grueling 11-hour plowing contract, which netted us just under $140,000. So we got a lot of money into the bank in the last episode, and we also, well, it escaped the bank pretty quickly, didn't it? Bringing the debt down to where we're at now at $150,000, which is brilliant. It really is. I'm dead happy with that. So, yeah, we need to continue that flow of things, as it were, but we're not going to be doing any contracts today. One reason why is there aren't actually any in the menu. Again, jumping into our contracts menu, I have refreshed this a couple of times. Let's see if I can bring up any more. But we've got I ain't doing a stone picking job in that field at field 63. No chance. That would be absolutely painful. But I'm clicking on the refresh button here, and it's not bringing up anything, so it's absolutely fine. So we're going to concentrate on our own land. We do have a bit of work to do in our own land. We've still got to plough the cornfield, get that dealt with. But of course, like I said, we did a grueling ploughing contract in the last episode, so I'm not going to, I will get that done, but I'm not necessarily going to get it done on camera or put it into another cinematic, because I did that in the last episode. It's going to take about 7.5 to 8 hours to get that field done. I know that because I've already programmed in and set up the course, and it's saved in my course play menu. And I just set it off very quickly just to get an idea of how long it was going to take. So that is a colossal job. But of course, we're not going to. The corn isn't due to be planted till April, till next month or May. So I'm kind of in no particular rush for that. But of course, I do need to get it. I'm going to get it planted and dealt with in April. So I do need to get it turned around. We'll need to plough that field. We'll need to lime it, and of course, just get it drilled and get the corn growing again for another bit of income in the future. Get that into the corn dryer again and get another, hopefully, few $100,000 worth of dried corn in the dryer. But for now, we're going to concentrate on, we're going to get this lot sold, and we're going to deal with our grass field just on the other side of the house there. The two fields that used to be soybeans, we ploughed it together, stitched it together as it were, created one slightly larger field. That is going to be our grass field. Now, fortunately, our seed drill is a direct seeder, so we don't have to cultivate it. So in this instance, I'm not going to do that. It's ploughed, it's a field, I can run the drill in there. But I do need to, very quickly, I do need to purchase, lease a field scanner just to get a couple of the little new areas of that field logged in as precision farming data. So I'm going to lease one of those. I can go into the menus and I can buy the precision farming data. Collectively, it's going to be, I think it was about $2,000 or $3,000. But I'm trying to do things properly on this save. You know, I'm not going to waste money where I don't need to. So instead of just being lazy and throwing away $2,000 or $3,000, I'm going to spend the time. We'll take a trip over to the store. We'll lease a field scanner. It is one of the modded field scanners. That does allow a slightly bigger radius, so we'll be able to get it done for a lot cheaper. So I think that's the right thing to do. So we'll be doing that. We need to get that precision farming data logged. We need to lime that field, and then we need to drill it with some grass. And then following on from that, we'll throw some anhydrous over it and bring the fertilizer levels of the field back to up to where it should be. So that's the plan. But for now, we need to make a trip to the farmer's market. Now, onwards since the last episode, one of the mods that I've now got running on this save, it's a cracker. It really is. And it is called the More Motor Sounds. And now it's to some of you, it might be old news. I only picked up on it a few days ago. It's called More Motor Sounds, and it is by MW Peter AH, Farming Duds Vasily K98. It's on the mod hub. I will post a link to it in the video description below. But it's something that again has just fixed a little bit of a thing for me that was relatively unique to me. Maybe some of you guys out there have also done this. But listen to this thing now. It's got a thumping great V8 in it. Now this mod, this tractor did, for me, was one that I had done a little bit of work to in the past regarding engine prefabs. Now, I'd mentioned this a couple of times, I think, over the last couple of episodes, but something that I've always done is making personal amendments to mods, and then as a direct consequence of that, I add a handful of mods in my mod list, you know, before you get into a game where you select your mods, that were always in need of being updated because they were different to the ones that were on the mod hub because I'd made amendments to them. Now all the ones that I had in there were vehicles, and there were vehicles that I had done some engine prefab work to. I downloaded a couple of prefabs off the mod hub, figured out how to do it, and threw those prefabs into the XMLs, and sure enough I'd been able to give those particular mods a slightly better engine sound. But this more Motor Sounds mod has come along, and it's absolutely brilliant. It really is. It makes things so easy, so I've been able to rid myself of those handful of mods that were in my list that constantly told me they needed to be updated. And thanks to this mod, I've been able to put some different engine sounds in there. So I did have a bigger John Deere prefab engine sound in this particular tractor. In my pickup truck that I've got on the farm, I did have a Perkins diesel swap into that, which sounded pretty cool. And I also had, I'd done a couple of other ones, my JCB 8000 Icon series by Ross N Mods that had a Perkins diesel swap in it as well. And a couple of others. But now, that's all clear, all done. And now you can just go into the download a mod, this one, and go into the workshop, and sure enough you can tweak and customize. You've got a handful that you can choose from as well, which is absolutely brilliant. You're not just limited to one or two engine sounds. It's a properly cool mod, it really is. So this one does have, like I say, a pretty decent sized chunky V8 engine in here. I'll go into the menu in a minute and show you. But I'm just coming round to the farmer's market now to sell these products. Now, I don't spend a lot of time at now this is a base game farmer's market building, but I haven't actually spent a huge amount of time at one of these in my time with Farming Simulator 25. So I need to remind myself. Let me just bring up the icons. I know the sell points are on either side, but let me just bring up the interactive zone markers. It's that side that I go to, isn't it? I think. Just spin it around. But how cool does this tractor sound now? It sounds absolutely mega. And one thing I also think that this mod has added is squeaky brakes. If you listen, yeah, those kind of squeaky brakes when you come to a stop. Absolutely brilliant. I'm almost certain that this tractor and one of the other tractors I've got on the farm as well. There we go. Boom. $21,510. So a little bit less than what I'd initially thought. I think that was just the variation in selling it at different sell points. But it is what it is. I'm more than happy with that. It's fine. Still got 20 odd grand into the bank. So what we'll do now, before we make our way over to the store and go and pick up... There you hear it then, the squeaky brakes. How cool is that? It really is. So, back into our finances menu very quickly. Here we are. So, where are we at now? What's our balance at? 37,681. So, let's just repay 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, we'll go for another one. So, we've got 125 grand left, which is brilliant. So, we'll get that dealt with ASAP. I'm just going to take a quick trip through here. Bit of a shortcut. There you go, mate. Get ourselves down to the store. We'll lease out one of these field scanners, get the data in, and then we can get cracking in our own field there. What I might do is potentially set off the one of the tractors with the plough and just get that cornfield at least started and progress through a little bit and start getting that job done, and then I can kind of work my way around in the background dealing with the grass field and get that ploughing done in the background while we're working away doing other things, because like I said, did a big one last episode, did a bit of a cinematic for it as well, so I don't need to bore you to death with another one of those. We've all done a ploughing job now and again, haven't we? So yeah, but what a nice position to be in. Yeah, we've got a little bit less money in the bank now, just under $12,700, but that's fine, it really is. We've got a little bit more milk to be converted over in the dairy. Just loaded that up before as well, just got that sorted. A little bit more goat milk to get transferred over into that as well, and no doubt a little bit more wool as they produce it. But yeah, so we'll have a bit more money in the coming months from that production system, which is great. So anyway, for now I'm going to scurry on, make my way over to the shop, pick up this field scanner, and I'll see you back at the farm in a few moments time. We'll get that data scanned in, pick up the lime spreader, throw a bit of lime on the field, and then possibly get drilling. Right then, back at the farm now. We've got the Isaria range extension mod thing now attached to the back of this one. We're going to go and crack on in a second or two and get that field scanned in. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this mod. It's essentially the same as the base game Isaria Scout field scanner, but it's got variations with a slightly wider radius on it. The mod's by Akimobile. I will put the link to it in the video description below, but it's one I've always used because it just saves a load of time, especially time, because I do find the scanning of fields one of the most frustrating and mundane jobs ever in Farming Simulator, so this just makes it so much easier. So yeah, I'll pop a link to it in the video description below. But before I do crack on, like I said before, I do want to crack on and get that ploughing job done, started in the background, because like I say, it's going to take quite a while. Now, I'm going to use the 4440 here for it, but the tyres aren't set up right, so I am going to equip this with a standard set of tyres, which is going to cost me $1,000, so I feel it's the right thing to do. Yes, it would probably do it as it is now, but it just doesn't seem right in my mind, having those twin narrow tyres on doing a ploughing job. So, we're just going to go for this one with some wheel weights for $1,000. Yep, there we go. Job's a good one. Nice, all sorted. But I did want to show you the... I'm sorry to keep going on about it. I know I talked about it for a few minutes earlier. But this more motor sounds mod. Now, the reason why I've done this is because it came into conversation quite a while ago over on my Discord especially. People being frustrated with the regular normal engine sounds that all sound relatively samey in Farming Simulator, and that's what this mod now allows you to do. So we can go again, we'll go back into, I can actually do it from the I've got the mobile mechanic mod activated here, but if I go to this one here, come back in, and as you can see, when you've got the more motor sounds mod installed, it brings up a new option here in the workshop menu. So you've got the standard sound, and there's every engine sound that's available in this mod isn't available for every tractor. So, for example, like I said before, on every vehicle, like I said before, I've put a V8 sound in my pickup truck. Now, I can't just go and put a John Deere 6910 engine sound in my pickup truck. Fortunately, it does recognize that it's a pickup truck, and it only gives you a couple of options, like a 6-cylinder or an 8-cylinder. But with the tractors, you've got varying different noises that you can give them. So you can give it a modern 4-cylinder sound, a modern Fendt Renault 4-cylinder, a 6-cylinder. There's a few variations, and it's great. You've got a different Massey Ferguson JCB Landini 6-cylinder there, an open pipe, which I quite like the sound of, no pun intended. Ford New Holland 6-cylinder, the MB Track 6-cylinder. I know that's quite a cool thing. And here we can give this the Cummins 6-cylinder as well, which could be an interesting one. But it doesn't cost anything. That's the great thing about it. It's zero cost, regardless of what you want to equip your vehicle with. So I think I actually quite, because we've already got a V8, I quite fancy the idea of trying this 6-cylinder Cummins. So we'll go for that. Customize. Yep. There we go. Lovely stuff. And we'll jump in and see what this one sounds like. Well, that sounds pretty throaty, doesn't it? Let's pull it out of here. We're going to hitch this up to the plough, throw this into field 35 and get that job started. And then we can go and crack on, get the field scanning done, get the liming done. Now, the reason why I wanted to keep on with this one, get this job done with this tractor, is I need the 7810 for its, because that's the most powerful tractor we've got on the farm, to pull the lime spreader, because it is a pretty hefty thing when it's got loads of lime in it. Well, this sounds pretty cool. It's just nice to have that variety of engine noises, don't you think? Like I say, it's, you know, there's nothing wrong with the engine sounds that we've got in the base game. They are of excellent quality and they sound great, but after a while, they all tend to kind of merge in and sound relatively samey. I know there are differences, don't get me wrong, to them, to some of them at least, but I know I'm not the only one who've mentioned this and brought this up. Like I say, it was brought up on my Discord in conversation a wee while ago. Kim brought it up, and she was getting a bit bored of the same sounds, and that's one of the things that got me kind of motivated to learn how to put these engine prefabs in, and that's what I did, and it seemed to work. But the knock-on effect of that, like I said before, is the fact that you're constantly left with mods that say they need to be updated. So this mod just completely gets rid of that. Means I've been able to get all my mods downloaded and updated. I'll say updated and just reverted back to the standard ones, and then you can just individually change them how you want in each individual save game. So it's absolutely brilliant, it really is. Right, so get you lifted up. Ooh, there's a bit of a wheelie then on the front end, wasn't there? I think it's got the power to do the job, but I suppose, thinking about it, what we like for a... Oh, that sounded good, didn't it? Proper blow-off sound on that one. Oh, that's mega. That is great. Do you know what, actually thinking about it, I might need to go and put the front weight on this one. It does feel a bit light on its front wheels. Got to try and do things at least remotely correctly, haven't I? Let's be honest. Right, let me fiddle around with this for a second. I'll throw the weight on this and I'll pick you up in a second. And we'll go out and set this thing off. Right, that's better. Got this front weight off the 7810 now on the front of this thing, and it just feels a hell of a lot more balanced now. No lightweight front wheels wheeling going on, so that's great. Right then, and the start of this courseplay course is just here on this far eastern side of the field. So, oh, that sounds mega, that one. It really does. That blow-off valve. So, just click on start, get rid of them. How long are you going to say on this one? 7 hours and 39 minutes. Proper job. And here come the goals for their massive feed. So, yeah, let's just leave this one to its own devices. I'm just going to, I don't often do this, but I'm just going to flick to the other one. There we are. Get this one started off. This one's got a custom engine sound in it now as well. This has got a 6-cylinder variant of something in here. Just sounds a little bit more beefy than what it did. So, yeah. So, over to the field. To what used to be the 2 soybean fields. Now, forgive me, I know I think we're probably somewhere in the region of about 20 minutes into this episode already, aren't we, ladies and gentlemen? And I haven't, apart from dropping the plough into that field, I haven't done any kind of field work yet. But sometimes it is what it is, isn't it? Not every episode, not every minute of every save game in Farming Simulator involves spending all that time in fields just doing field work. You've got plenty of other stuff to do. Selling pallets of butter and milk, for example. Right, so I need to bring up my field menu there, my map icon. Just drop ourselves into the field. We'll get this unfolded, and as you can see there, if I zoom right out to the big map, admittedly it looks quite small now, but let's go back to that one. So yeah, but what this does, it just makes this whole job of scanning in field data, for me anyway, so much easier. It really is, because it's just painful having to do these tiny little circles bit by bit, going around, stopping, scanning, stopping, scanning. It just drives me insane. So just being able to get it done in 1 or 2 scans, it saves time and it saves money. It's cost me $867, I think, to lease this thing, which was considerably cheaper than the well, that was a bit of lag, wasn't it? Considerably cheaper than the $2,000 or $3,000 it would have cost just to lazily buy in the field data. Right, so there's one. Let's lift you up, and I think we need to get another one in between where the 2 fields lay. Somewhere around here. Let's see if we can... I think it was roughly about there. Yeah, let's go for that. Lower it down. Take soil sample. Yep, there we go. Okay. Right, let's jump into precision farming. Let's see if we've got... Yeah, that's all covered now. Excellent. All I wanted to do, nice and easy. So let's send those soil samples for analysis. Yep, thank you very much. Let's get rid of that map HUD. Fold that up. And now we can send that back. Costing us very little money indeed. There we go. $300 for both of those soil samples. So $890. It's cost me $1,100 to get all that in, when it would have cost me $2,000 or $3,000 to just lazily buy it in. So that's great. So Ozzy's garage menu mod, of course, has to be done. There we go. So select that and return. Thank you very much. So we've got that done within the hour, so it's not going to cost us any more money. Perfect. Exactly what we wanted to do. So with that done now, I need to get back over to the yard. We'll jump back into the 7810. I'm pretty sure we've got a load of lime still in that lime spreader. So I've got my fingers crossed that we've got enough to get that field done. So I'll get all that hitched up and I'll see you back in a second. Righto, let's get this big lad hitched up. Now everything's obviously nice and clean off in here. Everything was given a wash through the winter. So it's just been nicely out the way, out the cold. Now I need to remind myself what I've got in here. 6,558 litres, right. Might be enough. I hope it's enough. We shall see. So, let's go get this lime spreading done, shall we? Right, all done. Pretty straightforward and relatively quick job, that one. But I've got to say, the texturing of the liming of the field there, something wasn't right with that. There was, I know since the last patch, and personally I've noticed an improvement. You know, like when you're running a cultivator or a plough, for example, and there used to be quite a bit of an odd delay when you were changing the state of a field directly behind the tractor. It used to take a little while for that texture to kind of update, and when you were, from my perspective anyway, running as a content creator and trying to make your content look good, it was quite off-putting. But I've noticed that has improved significantly since the latest update. But that liming, that was awful. It was all patchy and in weird squares, wasn't it? I'm sure you might have noticed it. I know the footage was sped up a bit, but yeah, it was. It looked quite awful. That, I think that's the first liming I've done since the latest patch. So yeah. Anyway, the job's done. We didn't use a lot of lime then at all, which is great. But yeah, nonetheless, it didn't look particularly great, so I do apologise for that. But and also I did actually notice as well that this particular tractor seemed like it was struggling doing that job. Now I don't know whether that's to do with the motor update. I don't think it is, but it may well have been as a result of that. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But when it was on the straights, it was fine. You know, when it was just in the low gears, it seemed to really struggle. But it is what it is. It's absolutely fine. So anyway, I don't know why I left the engine running there, because we're going to go and we're going to give this thing a bit of a breather now and jump into our little 4020 there, because that can run the seed drill. Thankfully, it's not a very modern seed drill that requires tons and tons of power. This thing can cope with it just fine. So we'll use this thing, go and hitch it up now, and get the grass drilled. That's the next job on the list. And once we've done that, we'll jump over and see how far through the job the 4440 is over there in the cornfield. Can't imagine it's going to have done a huge amount yet, but because that liming job was only a good few minutes. But in fact, we can actually check just by jumping into our menu, can't we? Not a lot. Goodness me, not a lot at all. Wow. In fact, where's my... What's showing up on the... Oh, there he is, there he is. Slowly chipping away at it. Dear me. Right, yeah, so we'll get this thing hitched up now. Can't actually remember how much seed we've got in it, so we'll check that one out. We've got a few pallets of seed over in the shop there, so that's not a problem. And I am grateful that this one is a direct drill, so we don't have to do any cultivating. We can just throw it down, as it were. So let's get hooked up and see where we're up to. But yeah, I've got a funny feeling that even when this episode comes to an end, that ploughing job ain't going to be done. It'll no doubt span across 2 videos, that one, I think. But yeah, because that last episode took me 2 or 3 days to get recorded and edited, that one. So there we go. I don't think there's any hoses, or there's definitely no PTOs or anything to get connected up to that. What have we got? 355 litres of seed. Right, okay, we'll change that to grass. I think it'll be good practice to top it up. I think it's the right thing to do. So I'll get that done, I'll get this topped up, and I'll see you back over at the field in a few moments' time. Right, all sorted, topped up. We've got a full hopper of 800 litres of seed now, so ready to go. Now, I've just checked on the weather, actually, because you can see from the top right, we do it is telling us that at some point soon in the distant future, we have got a bit of rain coming. But fortunately for this episode and this in-game day, it's predominantly okay. But if I just bring myself to a stop and jump into my weather menu, the rain's coming, and we've got some pretty heavy rain coming at around 11 o'clock tonight. But look at what's coming after. We've got a twister. Now, for me, I mean, it's 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning for this twister, but I haven't actually properly seen a twister in any of my save games ever so far in FARMERSIM 25. Obviously, that was one of the new kind of cool things that came to FARMERSIM 25. I saw a twister in one of the demos of Farming Simulator 25. It was actually FSG's live demo he was doing not long after the game was coming out. And I did see one in my multiplayer server over on Judith Plains, but I've never actually seen one in my own save game. Now, of course, it could be anywhere on the map. This is a big map, so it hopefully won't come and destroy any of our crops. But I do have disaster destruction turned on, so we will see, won't we, ladies and gentlemen? It'll be interesting to see whether we get affected by that. But anyway, so that's to come, of course. We'll see how that plans out later on. Not in this episode, of course. But anyway, right, let's get this grass drilled. Throw a bit of music into this one. And, yeah, get this grass drilled. And get cracking on. Righto, almost done. Only a minute or so left. I was just about to say, I think the wanted to show an example of the texture thing working perfectly well with the drill, but I've literally just turned around. As you can see, the little patchy bits there. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. It used to be really quite bad, if I'm honest, before the latest patch. But all in all, it's so much better. But compared to the liming that we did before, that was just visually, I mean, it was awful. It did the job. It was just a visual thing. But yeah, anyway, just me noticing a couple of things. Yeah, it does it again there if I turn around and kind of look forward and then look back again. Yeah, it just takes a second or two to catch up with itself. Anyway, it's alright. Job almost done anyway. The grass is in, which is great. And obviously the next job that we need to do with this one is just throw a little bit of anhydrous ammonia on top of it. Bring up the fertiliser levels of this field. And then that's this one sorted for that. So that's great. In fact, I need to remember actually rolling. Although I do have crop-dependent rolling turned on, so let me just jump into my field menu just to make sure I don't forget things. Where are we? I know sometimes it does take a few seconds. Yeah, we do need to roll this one, don't we? So there, that'll be a job we need to get done in the next episode. And we'll be doing that before the fertilising, but that's good. So, now the gulls have had a good feed. We've got a good flock of them over here, and there is a good flock of them over with the 4440 as well, with the plough in the field, but I think we'll jump over there and have a look at that one in a minute, actually. Let me just pop this here and get it out of the way, turn that off, and I'm just going to flick over and see how we're getting on in this job. How long have we got left with this one? 5 hours and 56 minutes. Yeah, this is going to be a while. But you know what, it's got to be done. I'm not moaning about it. This job does need to be done. Let's have a look and go to my field menu. Where are we? Yeah, we've got plenty to do here. So this job will get done between now and the next episode. Maybe, I'm not sure whether I'll pick up just before the end of this job at the beginning of the next episode. I don't know, but we shall see. But for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to call it here. We've had a good one. We've made a bit of money again, selling some of our new pallets, our products, our butter and our bottled milk. And we've drilled the grass and, of course, made a start with this one anyway, getting this cornfield ploughed under. So yeah, all good in my book. It's been a busy one, a productive one. And we've got a little bit more of the debt paid off as well, haven't we? What did I pay off? About 20 odd grand, so remind myself where we're up to, because it was a few minutes ago. Let me have a look. Finances wise, $125,000 left on the debt, so that's great. Dead happy with that. Anyway, right, so yeah, like I say, for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it here. Thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed the episode and found it a little bit of fun and a little bit interesting. As always, if you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed the video and you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and jumping on board, joining the channel. Please hit that like button too, as it does do wonders. Helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And if you like the idea of supporting the channel, there are a number of ways you can do that. There is my Giants Partner promo code, if any of you are in the market to purchase Farming Simulator 25 or any of its add-ons or DLCs. There is coffee.com if you'd like to buy me a coffee. And there is also my G-Portal affiliate link if any of you are looking for a multiplayer server to play with your mates. Any help and support with any of these, ladies and gentlemen, as always, would be hugely appreciated. So, thanks again for your time again, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.